Hey guys, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. For this build, I wanted to make a 5K starter home as opposed to a 10K starter home. So I started off by just making the outer walls and putting in a door. This glass door was the cheapest one besides the bathroom door, and it saved me from getting another window, so I thought I would just go with that. And I'm putting in the kitchen. All the appliances I used for this build were the used options from the Sims 4 City Living expansion pack, and they were a lot cheaper than the new ones, so I saved a little bit of money on that. And I put in the bathroom, and the bathtub is apparently cheaper than the shower, so I chose that option because I mean, it took up the same space because there was like one tile in front of the shower, so I just went for that in the end. And I made the outer wall diagonal because I thought I would spend some money on that single wall, but I end up changing that because it's a lot easier to work with a corner than it is to work with like a diagonal wall. So I'm just putting in a little eating area, so a little table and a little chair, and I'm putting in the windows for some light to come in, and just putting some wallpaper. I wanted there to be some light and like some color and some life in the build, so I chose like this green wallpaper. I end up changing it in the end, but it's still colorful as opposed to just like a white. And I put in some wooden floors because they were the cheapest option, so I went for white wooden floors so it wouldn't be too dark. And I'm putting in some lights, and I put in these kids lights. They're called something with kid saucer something, and they were like cheaper than anything else, so I went for those. And they don't really look like kids lights, so I just put them in. And I'm just fitting in a wardrobe because even though the Sims don't technically need a wardrobe, I thought that like if you actually lived in a tiny house like this, you would need some storage, so I just put that in just for the realism, I guess. And I'm just trying to figure out where I can put the sitting area because that diagonal wall is not cooperating. And I wanted to see where I can move the fridge because I found out it could be in front of a door, but it couldn't be in front of the other door because of the wardrobe, so I tried to play around with it to figure out what I can do, and I ended up putting that corner back. And yeah, also with the front door, since it's made of glass, I really wanted to avoid it being like on the front of the house so you could just look in, so I wanted to have it on the side so there was some privacy and it was more like a big window than it was just a door. And another thing I really wanted for this build was a kitchen sink, because even though it's small and cheap, I really wanted there to be a kitchen sink so you didn't have to go and do the dishes in the bathroom. So yeah, and I'm just moving around with the wardrobe and the table, and I wanted to put the wardrobe up against the bed so it was like a kind of nightstand-ish, and it was kind of like a little area for itself. And I just checked to see if my sim could still sit at the table, even though it was like colliding with the hitbox of the wardrobe, and that went fine. So I'm just putting on the roof now. I'm not forgetting it because I tend to forget putting in a roof. And roofs are free, so I wanted to make a nice roof as opposed to just like a flat roof. So I'm just playing around with what I could do, and it looked kind of weird, so I just ended up deleting that and just putting in like the side thing on the roof there. And yeah, it was really fun to build this house because it's really like 10K starter homes is like a thing now, but it's really rare to go below that, and I actually just wanted to see if it was possible at all with so many like necessary items being so expensive, like a fridge and like a toilet and like a bathtub and stuff. So yeah, and I think it went pretty well. I mean, it was really fun to build because when you actually have such a small minimum, like such a small amount of money to work with, you really have to be creative in what you actually need, and also just like splooching out on wallpaper just so it looks a little bit nicer. But yeah, I mean, I think it went pretty well, and honestly, I think this is like a really good home to like if you actually want to start from the bottom and not use cheat codes, because with this house you could eventually, I mean, you could expand with the walls, and also you could eventually get a computer, and you could start working and earn some money without spending too much living there because it's pretty cheap when it's so small. So yeah, I'm just putting in, see what I have left of money and see what I can add. I added a mirror, and I wanted there to be a little plant somewhere, but yeah, it's really hard when you only have like 100 simoleons. There's not really much you can buy for that, and but yeah, I ended up going for a plant. I delete this one because it's way too big. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Actually, I'm just working around with the details right now, and I end up changing the wallpaper just so it's a little lighter because I felt like the other one was too dark. And but yeah, I guess I guess that's pretty much it for this build. I'm just putting, the last thing I want to mention is a good tip if you're making a small room or house, or you don't have that many simoleons to work with. A really good trick is, often rugs are a lot more expensive than the carpet tool, so if you just put down a couple of tiles of carpet, it can look like a rug. I think I'm gonna do that right now, because I mean it gives a little break in the floor, like a little color change, and it doesn't cost that much, so that's a nice little trick if you don't have that much to work with. But anyways, I'm just working on the minor details now, and then I'm about done. So that was it for this build. The screenshots are going to be in the end, and you can see how it looks from the inside. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this build. So thanks.